Hello everyone and welcome to another Create With Me video. In today's video, I'm returning to a little sneaky peek that I gave in a video about a month ago, maybe two now. I was unboxing some books and wine, and I also provided a little sneak peek into an upcoming project and did some plant pot repair of all things. It was a very chaotic video. If you haven't seen it, I'll link it above. But in that video, I showed this beautiful exhibit of some cardboard packaging. Like I said in that video, I just saw it as a little castle. Tell me I'm wrong. So today I'm finally getting around to starting the project. First things first is probably to do the tissue sculpting, which is hopefully as easy as just wetting some tissues and building up the layers to create the edges that I'm wanting to make, and then letting that dry before painting. Hopefully it doesn't all just fall off as soon as I start adding paint. If I could, I would seal it, but I don't have any kind of sealant and I don't want to be going out and buying a whole tub of something when we're trying to keep our material possessions, especially art supplies, to a minimum. Alrighty, well, let's get started. Okay, so I have started the tissue sculpting. The first method I tried wasn't really working. I thought I would be able to kind of press the tissue and shape it to give that alternating kind of stonework shape, whatever you call that, but it just wasn't working. So I changed methods and I just laid down a piece of tissue all the way around the circumference of the turret, and then added little blobs of tissue dotted around. I really don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm hoping if I let it dry completely, then add another layer of tissue to support it all and let that dry, hopefully that will be enough. So I'll be back in an hour or two maybe when this is a little bit more dry and see how we're looking. It's been just under 2 hours and the tops are still a bit wet. I think I'm going to add the little layer of tissue on top anyway, because even if I let it dry completely, these little pieces would probably still fall off. And I really want to test the method today to see if it works, because I need to just start from scratch tomorrow and might not even do the tissue method at all. So before I can convince myself out of doing it, I'm going to start adding just a single layer of tissue over the top and hope it works. Here goes nothing. Okay, that immediately ruined it. Oh no, oh my god, I had such high hopes. Okay, let's just try one more time. Oh my god, okay, no. New piece. Alright, fine. Fine. Okay, so that didn't work. These little pieces weren't stuck down enough. I wonder if I should have used some hairspray, or maybe I should have let it dry completely. I don't know. I think I was very ambitious to assume. Ooh. I've just noticed, because the top is wet now, the cardboard's actually, it's actually moldable. Oh, yes. Okay. New plan. I think I'm going to bail on the stone shape and just pinch the top edge so that it's raised more than the rest, and it's going to leave just a little bit of an indent in the top. And I think that's going to be good enough. So what I'm going to do now is wet this side as well and pinch all along the top to give it this raised edge, then let it dry overnight and start painting tomorrow. Good morning. It is day 2 of this project and I'm really happy with how the top turned out. There's a few spots where the cardboard started to get a little bit soggy, and if I pushed it too much further I would have ripped through the cardboard. But now that it's dried, it's gone quite stiff again. I'm going to go right on ahead and start painting. I'm going to start with a black base coat and then build the layers up from there, possibly even trying to give that effect of the stone tops that I still haven't looked up. Anyway, let's start painting. This is taking so much longer than I expected. It'll be worth it, I hope. I definitely think the inspiration is from Age of Empires 2. I'm always so surprised when people don't know what that game is, and I think because it was such a big part of my childhood that I kind of forget that it doesn't necessarily mean everybody experienced it too. For anyone who doesn't know, it's basically just a strategy game that can be multiplayer, or you can burst the AI, but you build defenses, build armies, battle it out, and winner takes all kind of situation. I would love to know how many hours I have playing that game, because I know I've been playing it since primary school, back when we had it on CD. We actually got the first Age of Empires out of a cereal box, so that was my introduction to it, and then we got Age of Empires 2 on CD. Age of Mythology, yeah. There's a few different kinds of castles in Age of Empires 2 depending on which civilization you play as. I can't remember which civilization it is, so I'll put a picture of it somewhere here. I think the turrets in that one are rounded. These ones are not, but the vibe will be there. Hopefully. So I'm just going to finish up putting the black on. I'm almost there. And then I'll let it dry and start adding some layers. Yes. Now I want to play it. The first layer is dry. It's been a couple hours since I did the black. The plan is pretty straightforward. Just going to keep making progressively lighter shades of grey and brushing them on, eventually getting to the point where it's almost a dry brush to add the texture. I was toying with the idea of adding windows, but I probably should have done that before the black layer, so I could have wet the cardboard and molded the windows into shape and then painted over them. I'll get right to mixing up some grey. The stonework is starting to come together. I've added 2 layers of the first grey. By the time I got all the way around, it was almost dried on the first spot. So then I just went back over again with the same grey, trying to blot out more of the black because I really want the black to only just be showing in a few of the deeper cracks. So I'm going to let this dry just a little bit longer, and while I do that, I'll mix up a lighter grey. I'm going to try and get some sort of arrangement in all of the bumps and textures all over this little thingo. And I'm also wanting to try and do paved courtyards on the tops of the towers and the top of this section and down in this section. I won't go into lots of fine detail trying to get all the lines visible and all that. A little bit of a sense that there's paved stones there without actually having to put in too much effort. Little baby brush. Alright, so the first round of highlights is done. I've started to make it look like there's stones in the walls, and I've done that by just adding all these dots to symbolize the surface of the stone, and then obviously all the darker bits is the stuff that's further in. So just trying to create that illusion of depth. I've also added some little crosses in the top to make it look like it's a bit paved. I'm going to create another slightly lighter grey and just add some extra little highlights on all of the stones and the paving, and then I'm going to work on the windows and doors.
To ensure that your main character is coming across as you intend in your story.
Slowly but steadily, we are getting there. I'm starting to lose my natural light now, so I thought I would get it done, but apparently not. So I'll do the final few touches tomorrow morning. I have half a mind to leave the windows as they are. I don't know, I did want to make them look like they were illuminated. It would give it a bit of colour, so I don't know. Let me see how I'm feeling in the morning and we'll see if that happens or not. Day 3, baby! Today is going to be all about the little details to just make it pop, because right now it's very bland, uniform colouring. My plan is to do the doors and ground first and see how long that takes and see what gumption I have left. I'm going to mix up a nice dark brown and get going. The brown is done. I basically just mixed 3 different dark browns and made sort of a wood texture for the door, and also I added some little trapdoors as the ways to get up onto the turrets, and then a little secret door behind this one. And I just added some brown all the way around the outer edge for the dirt, but I'm going to add some green now. So I've just mixed up and added some really dark, kind of almost a grey green kind of colour, and I've just put that all over the brown that I'd added around the base, and I'm kind of happy with how it is there. I was thinking of adding some real like green vegetation and possibly even some flowers, but I think for the vibe of the castle that probably is good enough as it is. Now I'm wondering if I should test the glowing window. I kind of really like just the black windows, to be honest. I think I'm going to leave the windows black. I'm going to add some more black to them to make them really pitch black and neaten up the edges where the grey kind of got into the window area, and then it's done. Alright. Ta-da! Who knew packaging material could be this cute? I did when I saw this bad boy come out of its box. Every time I see a funky shaped one come out of a box, it's like, ooh, yes, please, let me paint it. Finally happened. Woo! Life goals, tick! I'm really happy with how it turned out, even though I didn't do a few of the details I'd wanted to. When I do this next time, I will probably try to do some little vine textures up the walls, maybe some more greenery and flowers along the base, or even adding some of that modelling shredded moss stuff, or even gluing some sand along the base just to make it look a little bit more realistic. In the end, I only used water to help shape the cardboard and acrylic paint to add all the textures, and I think for my first attempt, not bad. So if you see a castle like this pop up in a movie or TV show sometime in the future, you'll know what the inspiration was. I'm glad I finally got around to painting this little guy after hanging on to him for a while. I hope you enjoyed this magical transformation and are inspired to give it a go yourself. In the meantime though, you know the drill. Like a video to feed the creator for a day, subscribe to support them forever. Until next time, stay creative. Tweezers. Excuse me. Shh, please. Then, come on, shut up. You couldn't wait 2 more seconds? This fridge man is driving me nuts. No! I'm waiting for the plane to go over. That wasn't your turn to turn on. Dun, 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 dun. No! That'll do, donkey.